Hello, I'm Dan Weedin. Welcome to the next edition of Weedin Unleashed. It is noon Pacific time or 3 o'clock Eastern or all times in between. We are back after taking Labor Day off. Weedin Unleashed comes to you live, unedited, and a fun discussion every Monday, or just about every Monday, 12 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern. And our topic is always going to be something that hopefully will help you in your business and your career, to enhance it, to improve it, and maybe even to inspire and influence you, which, by the way, is a topic of our conversation today. Thank you for being here. If you are live, I thank you for being here. If you're watching later, that's great too. If you're here live, you can join in the conversation. There's a question bar to the right of where you are watching, and in fact, I've already got one question in. So we're going to dive right into today's program, which is based on my extra points for today, which is called the language of influencing. The language of influencing. Here's what I mean. Each one of us, especially if we are a business leader, a business professional, each one of us wants to be and needs to be influential in our ability to motivate and inspire others to do great work. Doesn't matter what the industry is. If you're the business owner, you want your employees to maximize their talent for the betterment of the organization and for them. And so you're going to try to influence them to do things in a certain way. Likewise, if you're the manager or supervisor, you're doing the same thing. And if you're a professional that requires to go out and acquire new business so that your business can run, you're trying to influence people as well. And language plays such an important part in it. I actually believe it's the most overlooked skill that there is in business. Why is that? Because we all are able to talk. we all when we come up through from a child through teenage years into adulthood, we're all able to talk and converse, and we dialogue amongst each other all the time. The problem is that we do so in a way that is not necessarily meant to influence. We talk with friends, we talk with family. Oftentimes, we may not be too worried about what we say or how we say it. That happens a lot, and what happens is it transfers over into a business situation. If you're in a situation where you want to be influential, too many times I see business owners, managers, supervisors have a great message, but a terrible way of delivering it. The best way to be influential is to make it important to the other person. And this is not about being manipulative. This is about doing something that is in the best effort of your organization. And quite frankly, the best, it's for the best for the employee as well. It's going to help them to enhance their career, to get them to move forward, and to help them to be better at whatever skill they're trying to get better at. So it's in their benefit as well. Whenever you're trying to use influential language, work on the approach of being very positive and making it in the best interest of that other person. So if you are trying to persuade someone to do business with you, let's say you are a salesperson. You could be selling real estate. You could be selling insurance. You could be selling granite. Who knows? Or you're a consultant who is trying to have get a new client. You have to put in their best interest why they should be working with you. And it shouldn't be to put money into your pocket. It should be because they're going to be improved. Their condition will be improved. You have to believe that, and you have to help them understand why. So make sure that whenever you are trying to get somebody to move, you're doing it in a way that is in their best interest. You may be trying to help them increase their revenue. You may be trying to help them reduce administrative burden or decrease costs. You might be helping them to get to the market faster. Whatever it is, if you're a real estate agent, you're maybe trying to help them get into the best house possible. You may be trying to help them get the best insurance and protection possible. It's in their best interest. And the way you do that is you leverage the power of emotion. Logic makes people think. Emotions make people act. Think about that for a second. Think about it in terms of when you've purchased items. If you're sitting in a car trying to make a determination of whether you want that car or not, the number of pistons and how much gas it saves and all of that stuff may make logical sense. But when somebody says, man, you really look good in that car, or that car does wonderful things to your eyes, whatever that is, you become interested. And again, it's not manipulative. It can't be. It's about emotion, and it's about what's in it for me. Okay? So in your world, in your situations, whether you're trying to influence investors, influence boards of directors, influence employees, whether you're trying to become influential to people that you want to do business with, whatever the case is, this is a very important process that you strategically look at. Why is it improving somebody else? Why will they be better off? And how can I help them emotionally see this as a benefit? This takes work. This takes strategic work in how you form your sentences, how you deliver it. That was really a big point today for me in my extra points. How do you deliver this message? It's funny. I just saw a recent speech by somebody in Toastmasters. In fact, they were the 2015 world champion of public speaking. Apologize, I don't remember their name, but they made a great point in that scientists who are trying to influence us that global warming is a real deal, they do so in a way that is sometimes very dry, and we don't take it seriously. Yet somebody else might be telling us something that's a complete lie in another, but because of how they're delivering it, we will be more likely to believe it. Taking aside the manipulation factor, because we're going to pull that off the table, you have to be just as effective in your delivery methods. And I believe you have to do that with the passion, you have to do it with the conviction, and you have to do it with the genuineness that comes through from the people who are listening to you, who are gaining your message. Your delivery is just like what you see on TV. Somebody on TV in a television show has to deliver to you something that is of interest. That's why you stay tuned in. You have to become that object of interest, and you have to be believable, and you only can do that if you believe it yourself. So bottom line, influential language is important. You increase it by having a better vocabulary. Improving your vocabulary is a great place to start. You can also improve it by role-playing and practicing it with peers and colleagues. I think people who are in sales, or people who are in consulting, or people who are in, well, let's face it, some sort of acquisition of new business, have to be really clear, pithy, and powerful in their language. You do it by practicing. You do it by role-playing. This is a skill. Just like shooting a basketball or swinging a golf club or swinging a tennis racket. Those are all skills. You have to practice them. Language as well is a skill. One of the places that I believe is really a great place to practice is Toastmasters. If you follow me at all, you know that I've been involved in Toastmasters for a decade, and that I'm a big believer in it from a professional development perspective. Toastmasters is a great place to go practice your skills, whether it's a prepared presentation or extemporaneously. Any place that you can practice what you've worked so hard to prepare for, That's important. Now, look, most of our conversations are not practiced during most of our conversations during the day are not practiced. This isn't practice. I'm making mistakes here as I talk back and forth. But you have to be in the moment, and that's why having a strong vocabulary and having practice strategically how you're going to be influential is important. I've dedicated a complete chapter in my new book, Unleashed Leadership is the book. The chapter is titled Unleashed Articulation. Get the book. There's a lot of different steps. I can't go through them all here, but there's a lot of different steps and tactics and techniques that I've implemented or I've put in there for you to implement. And I hope you'll go to my website, check it out, purchase the book now. It's on pre-order for 40% off, and then read the chapter called Unleashed Articulation. That will help you. Dave said it was Mohammed Khattan, The Power of Words, Toastmasters 2015 World Champion of Public Speaking. Great, look it up. It's Mohammed Khattan, The Power of Words. And that's what motivated me and inspired me to talk about this, because it's something that I feel very strongly about, and I think it's an important part of any leadership program. And in fact, it should be a big part of your leadership development. Now, Dave had asked a question before he helped me with the name. He said, could you share as a Toastmaster, which I just mentioned I am, the difference between praise and support and whitewashing? In other words, in Toastmasters, in Toastmasters, we will have areas where we get to evaluate each other. And that's the time that you're supposed to be getting really critical feedback that will help you improve. I think there is a difference between praise and support and whitewashing, but I don't think it's done intentionally. I think sometimes people are concerned about hurting others' feelings. They may be concerned about coming across too strongly, and they may be concerned about losing a member if they come across too strongly. Honestly, those are 3 reasons people might not be as honest and candid as they could be. The reality is none of us are going to get any better without honest and candid feedback. The delivery of that can still be professional. It can be done in a way, in a manner that is meant to help. But holding back never helps. In fact, that's one of the areas that I think Toastmasters sometimes misses a boat. In an effort to be overly positive, they miss giving out what can be really important feedback. That's why when I started working on my speaking ability, I actually went outside Toastmasters and got my own coach, because I needed somebody who is going to be candidly brutal, even if it might make me feel bad. I got the point. And the goal is to be coachable and to move on. I think praise and support is and encouragement is great, but it's no good at the expense of not being real candid and being honest in an effort to genuinely help the other person. If you're in a business, if you take this out of Toastmasters and we put it into a business leadership situation, there again, not being honest, not being candid with somebody that you're trying to influence isn't going to help them. In fact, it hurts them. Being very honest, you can do it again. Your delivery method can be with a smile, but you have to really be able to very quickly and efficiently tell somebody else the errors that they might be making and suggestions on how to improve. And of course, in a framework of how does this make you better? Our goal is to make you better, make the organization better. That's part of the whole thing. I think you can draw a correlation between evaluations in Toastmasters and evaluations in a business world as well. Dave, thanks for asking. I hope that answered it. We're 15 minutes after, and this is about the time that I usually ask again. And if anybody has any questions, we have some folks out there who are watching and want a question. Have a question or want to comment on anything, this is a great time to do it. I'm shooting this live from my living room instead of my office. I think the color of the back walls are better, and we'll see if this is a little bit better, and hopefully it is. So quick couple notes. Number one is I am going to be doing this still every Monday. I've been doing this now for quite a while. You can go and binge watch all of these if you'd like at danweedin.tv, danweedin.tv. All of my Weedin Unleashed are on there. I will be back again next Monday at noon Pacific. If you want to make sure that you're getting the notifications, you can follow me on Google. You can follow me on Twitter or Facebook. You can get my blog at weedin360.com. Or you can get my newsletter. Extra Points comes out every Monday as well. And our topic is usually that. So as I get ready to sign off, some really important final thoughts. You have the ability to impact others' lives tremendously, business or personal. And if you have their best interest at hearts and your organization's best interest at hearts, and you have the ability to influence the manner in which you deliver it, the words that you use are extremely important. Your goal is to show generosity, is to give encouragement, but at the same time, being very candid and precise in the way that you want them to act. What is it that you want them to think, feel, or do when you're done speaking? This can be done in a prepared speech. It can be done as part of coaching and working with people within your own organization. The more that you work on language, the more that you work on that skill, the more impressive you will become as a leader, the more successful you will become in sales, and the more significant you will become for the people who you're influencing. And that's the most important thing. So I don't see any more questions. This has been a good conversation. Again, my book, Unleashed Leadership, comes out October 1. Please go on my website, take a look at it. I hope you'll buy it. Again, I have a whole chapter on this for you. And at this point, I'm going to say thank you for joining us. I'll be back next week with another topic, and I hope you'll join me then. Until then, ciao.